Welcome everyone. In this video series, we are going to develop an AI-powered security scanner. So before we get into thinking what all components will be required, what language we'll be using, first of all, what we need to do before developing or trying to make a prototype of any product, first you need to perform market research. So for market research, let us take a look at the popular vulnerability management or vulnerability assessment tools. So if you are aware about cybersecurity, or if you are in this cybersecurity world, you might be aware of Nessus by Tenable, which is one of the flagship products which everyone uses. So the thing with all of these tools is that it's abhorrently expensive for individuals because all of these tools are catered to enterprises and not for individual users. So let us try to get a quote, or let us try to look at the pricing for Nessus. Let's go to products and let's just set enable vulnerability management. Okay. By now, as you can see, if I have 100 assets in the company, at the very least, I'm paying $5,700, which is a lot of money. So now let us take a look at other tools, the other solutions. Another thing that comes to my mind is Acunetics for website testing, web application security scanner. If you go to product, we may or may not get a pricing because some of these websites just give us a form to get a quote, because enterprise customers don't really care about seeing the pricing on the website. They usually contact with the sales teams directly. So as you can see here, only have an option to get a custom quote and not a solid pricing. We need to get in touch with their sales team to get proper pricing. Let's take one more last example, which is check marks. As Acunetics was a leading solution in web app penetration testing or web app security testing, Acunetics is the leading tool for application security. Let's just say you're building an Android application, you have a C++ project or any sort of application. You can use checkmarks to test how secure it is. Let's see the solutions. Let's see static analysis. Here as well, we have no pricing, but you can be rest assured you will be paying at the very least $2,000 to $3,000 yearly. So all of these do make sense if you have a large enough enterprise, but for individual use, if you want to ensure that your own code or your own code base is secure, your own product is secure, you can't really rely on these services. Or even if you have a small company or a small bootstrapped startup, you don't have a lot of funding, you cannot rely on these tools. You can, but the investment wouldn't be worth it based on the risk you're facing, right? So what we are going to do is we are going to create our own solution here. What we could do is we could create our own open source solution, which would be much cheaper to develop, and we can use it for our own code base, and we can give it to other people as well. So I have drawn a basic architecture diagram on what I think my application will look like. So let me just open it for you. It may be a little blurry, so I apologize for that. So this is our agenda of what we are going to build here. So first of all, we'll have various open source tools like Checkmarks, Acunetics, and Nessus. These all are closed source proprietary tools. But in the market, you can always find a lot of open source tools like OpenVAS, OWASP, Zap, Trivi. So let us take a look at one of those tools, which is known as OWASP Zap. I need to show you something related to it. See. So Zap is used for website scanning, right? Web app scanner for web pen testing, just like Acunetics. But if you see here, it was developed by Checkmarks. Checkmarks, which is a enterprise entity which has its own paid products. So even though it sells you paid services and products, it has also dwelled into open source and created some tools for the community. Now this is a really potent application which is known as OASP Zap, which was developed by Checkmarks. Similarly, we are going to use numerous other open source frameworks, and we are going to create an application based on it. So let me first elaborate on my architecture. So just like we have open OASP Zap, we will use other open source frameworks like Trivi, GitLeaks, CodeQL. So our application, what it would do is it would take in the source code file or the GitHub repository or the entire code base of the user, and it is going to take all of our open source frameworks and it is going to run scans on it. So all of these security tools will try to test various aspects of the program. For example, OWASP Zap is specifically for dynamic application testing because it test the website in runtime, not the code files. So for dynamic testing, we have OWASP. For static testing, we have Trivi. So all of these tools scan for various aspects of a code. And all of these tools will generate a report, whether it be in text format, whether it be in JSON, HTML, or PDF. So all of these outputs will be stored in an output store, which would be an SQL database. And we are going to extract all these features and we are going to give it to a generative AI model. So in our scenario, the most or the easiest thing to do would be to use an API, maybe OpenAI API or Gemini API. And we are going to take all the features that we gain from all these reports, and we are going to give it we are going to give it to a generative AI model. And what it would do is for us that it would give us a consolidated report, a consolidated PDF report. So what's better than looking at each of the report individually is that an AI does it for you and it combines all the aspects of the code. It combines the reports of all the tools that you have used and gives you a proper like executive summary with technical findings, remediations, like a proper professional report will be given by the generative AI. In the upcoming videos, I'm going to show you how I have integrated these various tools that I'm talking about, OWASP, ZAP, Trivi, GitLeaks. So we are going to integrate it one by one. And after we are done integrating all those tools, we'll work on the data store, we'll work on the generative AI component of our application. And in the end, I'll show you the entire demonstration video on how the product actually looks like.